Welcome to eXtremeRate channel. In this video, we will show you how to install the Trigger Clicky Kit on the DualSense controller model BDM040. Let's put this kit on your controller and be more competitive in-game. First, check if you get all the tools and components inside the kit. And let's start the process. Remove both shoulder buttons and the front trim cover. Use the flat end of the spudger to pry and lift the button off the controller. And pry the bottom edge of the cover and walk it all the way around to unclip the cover. Remove the cover and set it aside. Then remove the screws at both shoulder buttons and the bottom of the grips. Separate the clips of the bottom shell from the right side. And lift the tabs locking the bottom shell. Then work the spudger on the edge of both sides to undo the clips. Remove the bottom shell and put it aside. Unplug the cable and remove the battery. And take the microphone off the bracket. Remove the screws, one on the bracket and two on the sides. Remove the bracket and put it aside. Unplug the ribbon cable surrounding the motherboard. Carefully lift up the middle assembly. Then we need to cut off the adaptive trigger wires. Divide the yellow and green wires as a group. Use pliers or scissors to cut them off. Arrange the wires and move them off the motherboard. Make sure you cut the wires of these solder points. Then use the ejector pin to poke out the metal rod blocking the trigger. Stick the pin fully inside the hole to push the metal rod out. Remove the metal rod and put it aside. And remove the trigger. Then do the same to unlock and remove the trigger on the other side. After the triggers are removed, unscrew the trigger modules on both sides. Lift the trigger module from the place noted and put it aside. Do the same again. Lift the trigger module and put it aside. Next, remove the conductive rubbers on the shoulder and trigger buttons. And remove the conductive film of the controller. Carefully lift the film off the tiny tabs. Then turn to the other side. Unhook the motherboard. And flip the motherboard and remove the motherboard contact film. Now take the whole piece off the controller. Next, install the eXtremeRate Trigger CLICKY KIT FPC onto the controller. Guide the motherboard contact part through the slit. And secure it with the posts on two sides. Then line up and install the conductive film and secure it with the tiny tabs. Then put back the speaker and check if it is correctly placed. Flip the motherboard back into position. Then push the motherboard to clip it in. Here you can tape and fix the motherboard in case it falls off. Now let's move to the shoulders and triggers. Flip the FPC and sit the shoulder part into the slot. We can use the tweezers to push it down and sit it completely in place. Now we can refer to the picture and check if it is correctly installed. Then install the shoulder FPC on the other side. Find the correct direction and snap it down into the slot. And use tweezers to fit the FPC in place. Double check if it is correctly installed. Next, install the bracket in the kit on the right trigger. Line up with the holes and click it in. Push the plastic inward to click it in. Then put the right clicky trigger FPC on the platform and fit it in. Then twist off the plastic pieces from the given kit and snap it down to fit in the button slot. Make sure it goes all the way down and not leaving any gap. Then install the right trigger on the controller and lock the button with the metal rod. Test if the buttons are clicking. Then screw down the bracket. Now let's do the same on the left side trigger. Install the bracket in the kit on the left trigger. Line up with the holes and click it in. Push the plastic inward to click it in. Then put the right Clicky trigger FPC on the platform and fit it in. Twist off the plastic pieces from the given kit and snap it down to fit in the button slot. Make sure it goes all the way down and not leaving any gap. Then install the right trigger on the controller and lock the button with the metal rod. Test if the buttons are clicking. Then screw down the bracket. Arrange the cables. And use the tape to fix the cable in the gap of the bracket. Remove the tapes securing the motherboard. And reassemble the middle assembly snugly to the front plate. Be careful here and not clip the front microphone cable. Reconnect the front microphone and the touchpad cables to the motherboard. Lay the battery bracket on the motherboard and lock 3 screws here. Put the back microphone on the bracket. Plug the battery cable and install the battery. Reassemble the bottom shell. Line up both parts, press the edge and clip it in. Lock back the screws at both shoulder buttons and the bottom of the grips. Cut off 2 plastic posts from the kit and insert the post into the tiny hole on the shoulder button. Then install the shoulder button on the controller. Insert the post into the tiny hole on another shoulder button. And install the button on the controller. And the last, put back the front cover to wrap up the installation process. Thank you for watching the video. Happy customizing with eXtremeRate.